Do the Work is an unapologetic, blunt guide to getting things done, especially when it feels impossible to make progress. It's not a book that teaches you how to be productive in the typical sense, it's a book that's laser-focused on getting you to break through the internal resistance that holds you back. In this book, Steven Pressfield essentially tells you, stop thinking, stop planning, stop waiting for motivation, just do the work. Here's why and how. The resistance, your worst enemy. Pressfield introduces the concept of resistance, which he portrays as the enemy in the battle against procrastination, self-doubt, and inertia. Resistance isn't just laziness or lack of motivation, it's a powerful, almost mystical force that actively works against any form of creation. Every time you try to create something meaningful, whether it's writing a book, launching a business, or even starting a workout routine, resistance will do whatever it can to stop you. It might manifest as fear, self-criticism, doubt, rationalizations, distractions, or even the allure of comfort and safety. What's powerful about Pressfield's approach is that he personifies the resistance. He describes it as a sneaky, cunning adversary that shows up every time you try to pursue something that requires real effort, commitment, and vulnerability. Resistance wants to keep you safe from failure, it wants to keep you small and comfortable, and it will lie to you to make you feel justified in not doing the hard work. Resistance is not an external force, it's internal. It's the part of us that is scared to fail, that fears rejection, and that tells us later is better, or you're not good enough. But Pressfield makes it clear, resistance is real and powerful, and it will sabotage you if you let it. The only way through resistance, to begin. One of the core tenets of Do the Work is the importance of starting, just beginning the task at hand. Pressfield suggests that you don't need to have the perfect plan, the ideal mindset, or the perfect set of conditions to start. In fact, waiting for these things is just another form of resistance. He emphasizes that action breeds clarity and motivation, not the other way around. If you wait for motivation to hit, you'll never get anything done. But if you just start the work, even if it's messy, imperfect, or flawed, momentum will build. It's not about waiting for the perfect time or the perfect mindset, it's about doing the work. The first step is always the hardest, but once you begin, you push through the wall of resistance and you're already on your way. Pressfield explains that, when you commit to the process begins to guide you. The act of showing up every day, even if the work is difficult or doesn't seem to yield immediate results, creates its own momentum. By showing up, you unlock the magic of the work itself, and in time, you'll figure out the rest. Professionals versus amateurs. Another central distinction Pressfield makes is between professionals and amateurs. The amateur is someone who dabbles in their art or craft, only working when they feel like it or when inspiration strikes. They're often consumed by self-doubt, distraction, or fear, and they wait for some external circumstance to be right before they take action. They let emotions guide them. If they're feeling inspired, they work, if they're not, they don't. Professionals, on the other hand, show up every day, regardless of how they feel. They commit to the work, whether or not they're inspired, whether or not they're afraid, whether or not they have all the answers. For Pressfield, being a professional is about discipline. It's about the consistency and commitment to the process, not the outcome. Professionals don't let fear or self-doubt dictate their actions. They do the work because it's the work, not because it's easy or rewarding in the moment. They're focused on the long-term goal and trust the process, even when it's hard. What's essential to understand here is that Pressfield doesn't distinguish between professional and amateur based on success or skill. It's about mindset. An amateur can become a professional simply by adopting the right attitude of commitment and persistence. The myth of perfectionism. Another key obstacle Pressfield addresses is the desire for perfection. Many people avoid starting or finishing their projects because they fear they won't get it right. They get caught up in the details, obsessing over every little aspect of the work, and never move forward. This desire for perfection, Pressfield argues, is another form of resistance. In Do the Work, Pressfield urges readers to let go of the need for perfection. He advocates for a mentality of done is better than perfect. It's better to finish something that's imperfect than to obsess over details and never complete the project. The act of completion itself is a victory, and it's only through completing the work that you can refine and improve. In fact, it's often through mistakes and imperfection that the best insights and growth occur. This philosophy applies to both creative work, writing, painting, music, etc., and professional endeavors, business, leadership, etc. The perfect time to start does not exist, and perfection can be a trap. Instead of waiting for all the stars to align, Pressfield advocates for showing up and finishing the work. Trusting the process, fear, doubt, and perseverance. In his book, Pressfield also delves into the nature of fear. Fear is, in his view, one of the primary drivers of resistance. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough, and fear of success are all common feelings that stop us from doing the work. But Pressfield encourages us to embrace those fears rather than avoid them. Fear is normal, and it will always be present when you're doing something significant. The goal isn't to eliminate fear, the goal is to keep going despite it. He reminds us that no one is truly fearless, but that professionals are those who work through their fear, using it as fuel to keep moving forward. Trusting the process is about accepting that the work itself is transformative. Even if you don't know exactly how things will unfold, faith in the process will guide you through. The work doesn't have to be perfect, but it must be authentic and consistent. Trust that the process of doing the work will reveal the answers, shape your skills, and bring the results over time. The sacredness of work. Finally, Pressfield touches on the almost spiritual nature of the work itself. While the book is practical, it also conveys the idea that doing meaningful work is a calling. Whether you're writing a novel, launching a business, or pursuing a new career, there's a sacredness to it. The work you do is an offering, not just for your personal success, but for the world at large. Pressfield views the process of creation as a form of service. This mindset shifts the focus from the outcome, success, recognition, profits, to the act of creation itself. Pressfield sees the artist, the creator, the entrepreneur, and the professional as working in partnership with something larger than themselves. By doing the work, you tap into a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment, one that transcends personal gain. In conclusion, just do it. At the heart of do the work is a very simple message: just do it. Don't overthink it, don't wait for the right moment, and don't wait for the perfect conditions. Just show up every day, do the work, and trust that the process will guide you. The resistance will always try to stop you, but by doing the work, day in and day out, you'll overcome it. The most important thing is to start, to commit, and to keep going until the work is done. This is how you succeed.